The battlefields for this game are Sigil of the Storm for me, and I'm playing Volleybare, Relentless Storm, and Obelisk of Power for Stafford, who's playing Master Yi, Wuju Bladesman. Stafford is going first, so thanks to Obelisk of Power, he will channel 3, and then he'll draw for turn. He will exhaust 3 runes to play Wielder of Water into his base, and then, with nothing else to do, he'll pass the turn to me. Because I went second, and thanks to Obelisk of Power, I will channel 4, and then I'll draw for turn. I'll exhaust 4 runes to play Catalyst of Aeons, which apparently I thought was Pot of Greed. So I'll channel 2 exhausted, and then I'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will channel 2, and then he'll draw for turn. He will get started by moving his Wielder of Water into the Obelisk of Power to score his first point. He will follow that up by exhausting 5 runes and recycling a Calm rune to play his chosen champion, Master Yi Meditative, into his base exhausted. And then, with nothing else to do, he'll pass the turn to me. I will channel 2, and then I'll draw for turn. I will get started by exhausting 5 to play a Blazing Scorcher into my base. I choose not to accelerate it because thanks to Master Yi and the Wielder of Water's abilities, it would not be able to kill the Wielder of Water. I will then use my Volleybare's Legend ability to channel 1 rune. I will follow that up by exhausting 2 runes and recycling a body rune to play Challenge. Move for Stafford, I have my Blazing Scorcher challenge his Master Yi in base. This will kill the Master Yi, and then, with nothing else to do, I'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will score a point for holding the Obelisk of Power, then he will channel 2 and struggle to draw for turn. Apparently, he also struggled to draw any good cards to play, so he immediately passes the turn back to me. I'll channel 2 and then I'll draw for turn. Since drawing good cards seems to be a struggle, I figure I'll just choose one, so I'll exhaust 10, recycle 2 Fury runes, and play my chosen champion Volleybare Furious into my base exhausted. And apparently I got so excited to go score my first point with my Blazing Scorcher that I forgot to activate my Volleybare's Legend ability. And because I conquered Sigil of the Storm, I will have to recycle 1 rune, which after great deliberation appears to be a body rune. And with nothing else to do, I'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will score a point for holding Obelisk of Power, then he will channel 2 and draw for turn. Stafford will get started by recycling a Calm rune to play a Seal of Focus, and then, wanting to hold up every combat trick ever printed, he'll pass the turn to me. I'll score a point for holding Sigil of the Storm, then I will channel 2 and draw for turn. I'll get started by moving my extremely large Furious Volleybare into Obelisk of Power to fight Stafford's his Wielder of Water. My Volleybare's when attacking effect will trigger to deal 5 damage to the Wielder of Water. The Wielder of Water and Master Yi's effects will trigger on defense on top of the chain, and because the chain resolves backwards, they will buff the Wielder of Water to 6 before my Volleybare's effect can kill it. Stafford was looking a little too confident, and I realized that a single Primal Strength plus another combat trick would allow his Wielder of Water to live and kill my Volleybare, so before passing focus, I will exhaust 2 runes and recycle a body rune to play a Challenge. This was an absolutely awful sequence of plays on my part, because I have freely let the Master Yi and Wielder of Water activate their effects to buff it when I could have played Challenge before the combat to kill it more easily. Luckily for me, it doesn't end up mattering, because Stafford will exhaust a rune and his Seal of Focus to play a Defy, countering my Challenge. Now, knowing that my challenge would have just gotten defied and I would have made this play anyways, I feel a little bit better and we proceed to combat. Stafford will exhaust 4 runes and recycle a body rune to play a Primal Strength, which will buff his Wielder of Water to 13 might. But it does already have 5 damage on it, so right now both the units will die. After that, he'll exhaust 2 more runes to play Discipline, buffing his Wielder of Water by 2 more might, and allowing him to draw a card. Apparently, not as great of a swimmer as I would have expected a giant bear to be, the Volleybare will die, and Stafford will successfully defend the Obelisk of Power. After that absolute trouncing, I will exhaust 5 to play Doomdrake into my base. This will trigger my Volleybare's Legend ability, allowing me to channel 1 rune exhausted. And with nothing else to do, I'll pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will score a point for holding Obelisk of Power, then he will channel 2 and draw for turn. He will get started by exhausting 2 runes to play a Stalwart Poro into his base exhausted. Then, so that he may threaten me with much violence, he passes the turn to me with 6 runes standing. I'll score a point for holding the Sigil of the Storm, then I will channel 2 and draw for turn. I'll exhaust 5 runes to play another Doondrake into my base exhausted. This will trigger my Volibear's legend ability, allowing me to channel 1 rune. I will then exhaust 3 to play First Mate into my base, which will ready the Doondrake that I just played. I will then send my pair of Doondrakes into the Obelisk of Power, because certainly this Wielder of Water can't kill 2 giant dragons. Both the Doondrakes when attacking effects will trigger, and they will both gain 2 might. Stafford's Master Yi and Wielder of Water effects will trigger, having the Wielder of Water gain 4 might. He will then exhaust 4 runes and recycle a body rune to play a Primal Strength, buffing the Wielder of Water to 13 might. He will exhaust 1 more rune to play On Guard, and because the Wielder of Water is defending alone, it will gain 2 more might. And Katara over here will kill both of the drakes as well. And after quickly pinning a letter to Dave that they need to nerf Wielder of Water, I will pass the turn to Stafford. Stafford will score a point for holding the Obelisk of Power, then he will channel 2 and draw for turn. Stafford will get started by exhausting 5 runes and his Seal of Focus to play a Lee Sin into his base exhausted. Then, leaving up runes for more dastardly combat tricks, he will pass the turn to me. I'll score a point for holding the Sigil of the Storm, then I'll channel 0 and draw for turn. I'll get started by moving my First Mate into Sigil of the Storm, and then I'll recall my Blazing Scorcher to base so that Stafford can't bully it with his Lee Sin. I will then exhaust 9 runes and recycle 2 body runes to play a Dazzling Aurora. When I pass the turn, the Dazzling Aurora will play a Brazen Buccaneer off the top of my deck into my base exhausted. This will trigger my Volibear's legend ability, allowing me to channel 1 rune exhausted, and then Stafford will proceed with his turn. Stafford will score a point for holding the Obelisk of Power, then he will channel 2 and draw for turn. He will immediately move his Lee Sin into Sigil of the Storm to bully my First Mate. My First Mate will die, and Stafford will score another point. He will float the energy from 1 body rune, then he will recycle it for conquering the Sigil of the Storm. He will finish things up by moving the Stalwart Poro into the Sigil of the Storm, then he'll pass the turn to me. I will channel 1, and then I'll draw for turn. I'll get started by exhausting 6 runes and recycling a Fury rune to play an accelerated Blazing Scorcher into my base. This will trigger my Volibear's legend ability, allowing me to channel 1 rune exhausted. I will then send 2 more dragons at the Wielder of Water so that I may hopefully kill it and not lose the game at the start of Stafford's turn. They do manage to kill the Wielder of Water, scoring me a point. One of the dragons should definitely be dead. I'm not sure why it stays here, but in the end it doesn't matter. I will follow that up by exhausting 6 runes and recycling 2 to play a Stormbringer, but Stafford will respond by exhausting 3 runes, recycling a Calm rune, and exhausting a Seal of Focus to play a Wind Wall to counter my Stormbringer. I will then move the Brazen Buccaneer into the Sigil of the Storm to start a showdown with Stafford's Stalwart Poro and Lee Sin. Stafford will exhaust 1 rune to play On Guard to buff his Lee Sin to 6 so that I can't kill it. So I will kill the Stalwart Poro, and then I'll pass the turn to Stafford, hoping that my Dazzling Aura hits a Dead Moon Predator or I'll lose the game. After hitting a couple of spells, my Dazzling Aurora will hit a Tryndamere, which will not save the game, so Stafford will hold the Sigil of Storm with his Lee Sin to score his 8th point and win the game. We just wanted to take a quick minute here at the end of the video to thank everyone for the almost 500 new subscribers in the past week. We never dreamed we would hit 1250 subscribers this quickly. We have created a community Discord to interact with all of you. In the future, we'll use this Discord to do giveaways, community tournaments, and decklist submissions for us to play in our videos. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed.